produkto, tapat sa aming serbisyo. Walang problemang di malalampasan. Magliliwanag ang ating kinabukasan. Dance Radio, silid-aralan sa radyo. Hatid namin makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo. Kahit saan at kahit kailan, hindi ka iiwanan. Hatid namin bagong kaalaman. Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong. Sulong edukalidad. That's Radio. Learning is amazing.
Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kaalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman, inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 Dance Radio. Ang istasyong magbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan man. At ang silid-aralan sa radyo, 106.3 DWDR-FM. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing!
Yes, good afternoon, grade 10 learners, and welcome to our MAPEH Quest in Arts 10. Okay, shout out sa aking mga students, ang grade 10 SPA Obra, SPA Sinagtala, and 10 Yakal. Good afternoon, stay tuned hanggang sa matapos ang ating live streaming. Sir Dante.
Ako na pala. Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon sa ating mga grade 10 learners, especially 10 SPJ, and shout out, of course, coming from Sir Mark John R. Domingo. Hindi man natin siya kasama dito, kaya ito pinapa-shoutout niya ang kanyang klase, ang 10 Almasiga, 10 Gemelina, at 10 Camagong. Stay tuned lang kayo mga grade 10 learners sapagkat matututo kayo ngayong hapon na to. Ma'am Joanna?
Okay, good afternoon sa mga grade 10 learners, lalong-lalo sa mga grade 10 medalists, Einstein and Rutherford. I hope na handa-handa na kayo o ready na kayo sa pakikinig sa ating live discussion sa Arts 10 ngayong oras. At ganun din, shout out sa mga klase ni Sir Arnold Simon, ang 10 Nara at ang 10 Acacia. Sir Mark.
Okay, pinabati ko rin ng magandang hapon ang aking klase. Dalawa, ang 10 Mahogany at 10 Lawan. Okay, ganun din si Sir Mark Ives. Pa-shoutout daw sa kanyang 10 Tang at 10 Tindalo. Yes, Ma'am Annalisa?
Okay, shout out sa aking mga 10 Mulave at 10 Banaba. Kumusta kayo mga anak? At shout out din sa mga estudyante ni Ma'am Chatramilay Kalimos, ang 10 Talisay. Good afternoon, students. Okay, Sir Dante.
Thank you Ma'am. Siyempre, hindi lang ang ating mga estudyante, let's also acknowledge our administrators. First, the Chief Education Supervisor, our officer in charge, Dr. Rodrigo B. Pasco. Good afternoon, sir. Our Assistant Principal, Ma'am Rudir Guillermo. Good afternoon, ma'am. At sa masisipag na head teachers, we have Ma'am Emily Valenzuela of the AP Learning Area. We have also Sir Ferdinand Del Rosario of the ESP, Ma'am Jacqueline Partible of the Filipino Learning Area, Ma'am Merlinda Del Dante of the Math Learning Area. We have also English Learning Area, Ma'am Opelia Esra Lutin. We have also the science learning area, Ma'am Annabel A. Rodriguez. And of course, we have Sir Jefferson Aguinaldo of the TLE learning area. And of course, ang napakasipag na head teacher namin ng MAPEH learning area, Sir Leonidas C. Bernardo. Good afternoon, sir. At sa inyong lahat, good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Great time, teachers. Hoping na ating mga great learners ay para sa pagkikinig sa ating aralin ngayong araw. And we are encouraging all great learners to participate in all the activities in today's episode in Arts 10. So what are to expect, Sir Francis?
Okay, so before we start, sa mga students natin or learners na nanonood or nakikinig ngayon sa ating live streaming, i-chat sa ating chat box ang inyong section upang sa ganon ay ma-check natin ang inyong mga attendance dito sa ating live streaming. Okay, so what to expect to our lesson for today? At the end of this lesson, the learners of grade 10 are expected to, number 1, use artworks to derive the traditions, history of the various art movements. Number 2, compare the characteristics of artworks produced in the various art movements. Number 3, explain the role or function of artworks by evaluating their utilization and combination of art elements and principles. Number 4, discuss the influence of iconic artists belonging to the various art movements. Okay, so let's proceed now to our live streaming of our lesson in Arts 10, starting with our review to be presented to us by Sir Mark.
Okay, so before we proceed to our new topic or lesson in arts, let us now review our previous lesson in arts. So I know you have learned about the principles of design and elements of arts in your previous years. Now, what are the different principles of design? So you can comment down your answer in the chat box. Dear students, you can comment your answer. What are the different principles of design? Yan, may nagko-comment na ba?
Pa, sir. So, hintayin natin ng konti. Ano-ano daw yung mga iba't ibang principles of design? Dear learners, i-comment na sa ating chat box. So, kung may mga natatandaan tayo, mga principles of design, i-comment sa ating chat box. Mukhang nakalimutan na yata nila ang kanilang mga napag-aralan sa arts, Sir Dante. Ito yung basic na napag-aralan natin sa art. So hindi tayo makakabuo ng mga iba't ibang art products kung wala ang mga ito, ang mga principles of design and the elements of art. Importante yung mga yan. Okay, so wala pang nagko-comment. Delayed yata ang ating may nag-comment dito, 10 bagyo. Meron ba tayong section na 10 bagyo?
Wala.
Sir. Wala, sir.
Okay, so i-reveal na natin, Sir Mark. Baka, ayun, meron na ako nakita.
Okay.
Si Cyril Labagnoy. Ayan, balance daw.
Balance
Very
and
good.
proportion.
Miss Labagnoy. Then John D. Mozart de la
And
Cruz,
SJ.
proportion.
Wow.
Ano pa? Meron pa ba kayo nakikita dyan?
From Darimple Marie, from 10 Minute Live, pattern daw, sir.
Okay, even John D,
Pattern.
sabi niya, unity. JC
Yes,
Marie Tabago,
meron
empathy.
Yes, okay.
Yan.
So,
Sige, okay na, Sir Mark. Continue.
Yeah. All your answers are correct. So, the different principles of design are, okay, ito na sila. Unity,
Sir
variety.
Jasil, wait lang, Sir Mark. Sir Jasil, yung PowerPoint natin para makita nila yung mga iba't ibang principles of design na babanggitin ni
Okay,
Sir
sir.
Mark.
Okay, yan yung una.
Yan. So, yan yung
Unity
una.
and variety. Next. Balance.
Balance.
Next.
Emphasis
And subordination. Next. Contrast. Okay, next. Repetition and rhythm.
Hidden.
And okay, next, sir. And of course, scale and proportion. So that's are the principles of designs. Yes, Sir Dante.
Wow, very good ang ating written learners sapagkat tawag ito, naaalala pa rin nila ang mga principles of design. Siguro kanina, sir, hindi lang sila makasagot agad sapagkat they're trying to remember. Hey, you have learned the different principles of design. How about the different elements of art? Can you name them? Chat your answers at the comment section. Okay, tignan ko nga kung ano yung different elements of art. Sige, come on. I'll be giving you time for you to chat. Timer starts now.
Elements of
Okay,
art.
then.
different elements of
Oh.
arts. Kayang-kaya nila
Yung
yan.
mga obra ko, alam nyo yan. Yung mga
Oo,
SPA.
Mulabe.
What are the elements of
Alam nila yan.
art? Ayun, meron na. Aleli Joy Ordonez,
Ano?
Javier, 9.
Ano ang sabi,
Sabi
Sir
ni Aleli,
Francis?
9.
Very good. Aside from it, ano pa? Aside from line, ano pa, my dear students?
Okay, another answer from Aleli Joy again. Color, space, and shape. Yan, sinagot niya na lahat.
Okay, tama yun mga yan. Okay, sige, let's
Si
try
Chirel,
to build
sabi
it.
niya rin, line.
Okay. Sige, let's try to
Yan,
rebuild
so, i-reveal na natin,
Basil.
Sir Dante.
Okay. What are different elements of lines? Kita natin. Sir Jasil, paki-present po. We have line. Aside from line, we have also, next please. Yeah, shape. Yan. Next is, ang shape, next is, yung tinatawag nating space. What more? We have also value, lightness and darkness of color. Next, please. We have also color that gives light to a certain masterpiece. Next, have texture. May rough, may smooth. And finally, number 7, we have perspective. So those are the different elements of arts. Now, pagalingin natin ng konti para sa ganun, balikan natin yung prices para hindi makalimutan ng ating mga grade 10 learners. Kasi medyo nakalimutan na yata nila. Sabi sa research ko, ang elements of art are sort of like atoms in that both serve as a building blocks for creating something. So inahalin tulad dito sa science. You know that atoms combine and form other things. Sometimes, they casually make a simple molecule as when hydrogen and oxygen will form water. If hydrogen and oxygen take a more aggressive career path and bring carbon along a co-worker, together they might form something more complex. Para ngayon sa art yan, artists manipulate the 7 elements, mix them in with principles of design, and compose a piece of art. Not every work of art contain every one of these elements, but at least 2 are always present on it. Okay. Bakit nga ba mahalaga ang elements of arts? Bakit natin kailangan bigyan ng pansin? O grade 10 learners, ha? The elements of art are important for several reasons. First and most importantly, This one can create art without utilize at least a few of them. No elements, no art, and of story. And we wouldn't even be talking about any of this. Okay? Second, knowing what the elements of art are enable us to describe what an artist has done, analyze what is going on in a particular piece, communicate our thoughts and finding using a common language. The elements of art are both fun and useful. Remember, line, shape, form, space, texture, value, color, perspective. Knowing this element will allow you to analyze and do your own masterpiece. Yeah, those are the elements of arts and it's important. Ma'am Joanna?
Okay, kung may elements of arts, kakambal nito ang principles of, so paano ba saan ba ginagamit? So ito ay kumakatawan kung paano ginagamit ng isang artist ang mga elemento ng sining upang makalikha ng isang magandang masterpiece na siyang makakatulong upang ihatid yung layunin ng isang artist. So kung babalikan po natin yan, so kanina pinakita ang balance, pinakita ba so kanina sa PowerPoint? So yung balance ngayon, yung distribution ng visual weight ng object, colors, texture, and space. And doon, meron tayong tinatawag na symmetrical and asymmetrical. Symmetrical balance, ito yung mirror image na tinatawag. At pag sinabi natin asymmetrical, so halimbawa sa side, right side, gumawa ka ng isang malaking bilog. On the left side, gagawa ka naman ngayon ng small rectangle. So nagkakaroon siya ng asymmetrical balance. Another is the contrast. Ito yung arrangement ng opposite element wherein makikita mo yung light versus dark. We have rough versus smooth and large versus small, which is in these pieces nakaka-create tayo ng isang visual interest. Another is the emphasis. Pag sinabi natin emphasis, this is the focal point. Ano? Yung focal point na yan, it is the principle of creating a centered interest in an artwork. Then another is movement. So it can be directed along lines. Pwede rin sa mga edges, mga shapes, and colors within the work of art. Then we have also the pattern. Ito yung repetition ng elements of design na nagka-create ng unity within the work of art. And we have also the rhythm, refers to the relationship between elements that creates the sense of harmony. Then yung unity, it refers how different elements of an artwork, or it can be achieved through proximity, simplicity, repetition, and continuation. So yan yung mga iba't ibang uri ng principles of art. Okay, Sir Dante.
Okay? Okay, meron pa ba? Okay, so that's correct, Sir Dante and Ma'am Joanna. And to know more about the concept of modern arts movement, okay, let us watch this 1-minute infomercial on the history of art and modern arts movement. Okay, play po yung infomercial history.
Okay, so Sir Dante, no? So yung napanood natin na infomercial. It is all about the history of art and the rise of the modern art movement. So makikita natin dito yung transition from prehistoric to Renaissance, mga iba't ibang period hanggang sa naging modern art na ang ating mga iba't ibang work of art. So inintroduce din dito yung mga iba't ibang modern art, yung mga expressionism, impressionism, mga ganyan, Cubism, Surrealism at iba pa. So ano naman ang masasabi ninyo mga kasama tungkol sa ating infomercial?
Okay, ang modern art includes artistic work they produced during the period extending roughly from the 1860s to the 1970s and denotes the styles and philosophies of the art produced during that era. So ayon sa mga pictures na nakita kanina dun sa infomercial. Okay, ano pa, Sir Dante?
Ayan, sige. I just would like to add something. Alam ng mga grade 10 learners natin yan. Because primarily during their grade 9 years in the field of art, that is really their lesson. From a very simple type of art to a very complex type of art. Nagsimula yan sa napakasimpleng art mula sa mga stick design sa cave painting in the cave of Lascaux in European country, in Europe. Tapos nag-evolve yan from bringing it into Egyptian, to Greek, to Roman, Renaissance, Baroque, and etc. Naging modern na siya, modern na ang arts na yan. Pinakita diyan sa video na yan, development, how arts is being developed, very small into a complex type of art. Joanna, you want to add something?
During that period, the prehistoric period, yan yung mga paintings na yun, nakita sa isang kuweba, dun sa kanilang ceiling and sa mga wall ng kuweba during that period. Sir Francis?
Imagine natin nagsimula lang ang arts ng mga sinaunang tao na sila ay nagdrawing lang ng mga iba't ibang mga hayop at saka mga parang stickman lang yung kanilang dinrawing. Doon nagsimula ang ating arts. Na nung unang panahon, gumagawa na ang mga tao ng work of art. Okay, so looking back through the Western history, it is notable to see the different types of art that made an impact to this society. By making a timeline of the different art movements, we can see not only how modern and contemporary art has developed, but also how art became a reflection of its time. So did you notice that, Sir Dante?
Yes, Sir Francis. Yes, Sir Francis. It's not... Hello?
Sige.
Yes, Sir Francis. The distinct characteristic of various modern art movements do not only create an impact to the modern society, but also hold through the generation to come. The modern art movement contains the way we perceive modern art form. This time, of course, let's try to deepen our understanding from the learning that we have or the learning that you have during your grade 9. Let us try to make it complex or improve more your understanding regarding specifically on the topic of comparison of modern art movement. Ma'am Joanna?
Sige, so I will share with you the modern art movements, history, and the distinct characteristics. So are you ready now, grade 10 learners? So what is abstract realism? Let's start with the abstract realism. So when we say abstract realism, it is an art or a fusion of imagination brought about by impressionism and exam. The artists mix their thoughts, feelings, and emotions into their paintings of real life. Abstract art is a visualization of pattern, colors, texture, and lines without the need of external motivation, while realistic art consists of art forms that aim to copy the natural feature or view, such as photography. So, sa pagkakaintindi ko dyan, yung abstract realism na yan, ito yung pinaghalong abstract art at realism art na magkasalungat nga kung iisipin natin. Dahil yung abstract ay paggamit ng lines, ng shape, colors, textures para makakreate ng isang masterpiece, meaning wala itong reference doon sa real objects. Dahil yung focus ng abstract ay yung mga elemento ng feeling that gives feelings, emotions, and expressions. While realism art may kinalaman ngayon sa mga real-life moments or images or objects that can be shown in real life. So pag pinagsama natin yung abstract realism art, tayo ay gumagamit ng forms, ng lines, texture, colors, and shapes sa iisang masterpiece. Diba, Sir Dante?
Okay, another.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
historically, ang abstract realism started in Europe in the late 19th century. Abstract art fully emerged in the early 20th century when a decline in the appreciation of realism became more common among avant-garde artists of the period. Similarly, the abstract art movement allowed more coherent analysis and meaning via lines, colors, and shapes that had not been previously recognized in art. Eventually, this gave birth to abstract realism. Okay, si Robert Delaunay and Francis Picabia are well-known artists for this movement of art. Okay, let us see the artworks of abstract realism. Okay, patingin yung mga abstract realism. Okay. So what can you say about their artworks? Okay,
Ako nakikita ko sa abstract realism ay yung feelings, yung emotions, kitang-kita. Lalo na dun sa picture na lalaki at babae dun, I show the emotions there, yung feeling nila, yung love, That is an abstract realism.
Real art form. Real na real.
Ako naman. Ang nakikita ko naman sa ating screen, nakikita ko, naiintindihan ko na bundok yan, na may bata, tapos may mga other images ako nakikita, but it is actually a combination of abstractionism and realism. Pag abstractionism kasi, it is distorted, hindi siya masyadong maintindihan. Kapag realism naman, in totoo, it is actually, kung ano yung nakikita mo naturally, they are real. So yan part na yan, naiintindihan mo na yan ay isang bundok. But generally, distorted siya. Kaya tinatawag itong abstract realism. Okay? Sir Francis?
Yes, let's proceed now to the next movement of art to be presented to us by Sir Mark. Take it away, Sir Mark.
There's another movement of arts. So the Dadaism. What is Dadaism? And who are the famous artists of these movements of art? So let's see. Well, Dadaism was an artistic movement in the early 20th century. Okay, so practiced by a group of European writers, artists, and intellectuals in protest against World War I. So the artwork showed rejection of the logic, reason, and aestheticism, and expressed nonsense. So irrationality and anti-elite protest in their works. So it is a style characterized by dream fantasies, memory images, and visual tricks and surprises as seen in the paintings of, ito na sila, Marc Chagall and Giorgio de Chirico. Okay?
Chirico.
Ito yung dalawang. Yes, sir.
Okay,
let us
so
now look on the artwork and let
The
us
Melancholy
describe
and
the
Mystery of a
artwork.
Street by Giorgio de Chirico, yan ay pinainting niya base sa kanyang dreams. Yan ay isa sa mga napanaginipan niya. So yan kasi ang characteristics ng Dadaism, ano? Dinidepict natin ang ating mga napapanaginipan. Pinapakita natin through painting. No? Yung mga memory images natin and even fantasies. If we have noticed dun sa mga examples natin, ano, it shows the rejection of the logic. Yan, mapapansin natin, rejection of the logic. There are different images na makikita natin sa mga paintings which gives reasons, ano, they're expressing nonsense and irrationality. Because this Dadaism, ano, it is a protest, ano, in their work. They're protesting in their work.
Nagkakaroon din siya, nakikita din natin dyan yung pagiging yung artistic freedom at saka yung emotional reaction.
Yes, Joanna, correct.
Okay.
No more, Sir Dante? Okay.
Traditional beliefs, no?
Okay, go, Ma'am Ana.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sir Mark. So, ang ganda ng Dadaism. It's really a product of imagination, a product of dream. Yan. May gusto raw ipahiwatig according to Ma'am Joanna. Now, we proceed to the next movement, and that is Surrealism. What is Surrealism art? Surrealism is an art style that depicts a logical and subconscious dream world beyond logical, conscious, and physical one. It was derived from the term Surrealism, with its artwork clearly showing hallucinations, dreams, seeing illusions, and departure from what is real and natural. Who's the famous artist and his famous artwork that depicts Surrealism? We have Marc Chagall, and his famous artwork is titled I and the Village. Okay. Let us look on the artwork of this movement of art. Yan. Yan yung tinatawag natin Surrealism. Yung nakikita nyo dyan sa ating screen are actually an example of a Surrealism masterpiece. A Surrealism aims to revolutionize human experience. It balances a rational vision of life with one that asserts the power of unconscious and dream. The moment artists find magic and strange beauty, the unexpected and the unfunny, that disregarded and unconventional. Mostly, the pictures of surrealistic art, they are dreamlike scenes and symbolic images. They are actually distorted figures and biomorphic shapes. Pag mapapansin niyo yan nasa screen, it is really distorted. Kapag i-compare natin ang Dadaism at saka Surrealism, may commonalities sila. Kung mapapansin ninyo. Okay? They are actually a product also of a dream, pero this is super realism. Kumbaga, it's very unnatural. Okay? Sir Francis?
Yes, Sir Dante. Surrealism is real and natural, but it is distorted, ano? Kasi nga, it is a dream, it is a hallucination. Kaya kita natin ang mga object is distorted. But it is real and natural. Before we proceed to the next movement, shout out sa ating mga listener and viewers. Kanina umabot na siya ng 103, ano? Siguro dahil sa internet connection, nagiging 83 kanina, tapos ngayon 73 na lang. Yan, siguro naglolos-los din ang kanilang internet connection. Pero kanina umabot na tayo ng 100 plus viewers. So thank you so much sa mga nanonood na mga grade 10 learners. Stay tuned lang kayo, no? Huwag kayong aalis hanggang sa dulo, samahan nyo kami.
Actually, Sir Francis, marami ring nakikinig sa radyo. Marami rin na nagkapan sa nakikinig sa ating Spotify. Because yan na really pwede silang makinig through radio and Spotify kahit wala sila kung wala silang mga connection. Okay?
Yes, at mapapanood din nila syempre yung replay na to sa YouTube, di ba, Sir Dante?
Yes. At take note sa ating mga grade 10 learners, ha? You are asked to give your short reflection, 2 to 3 sentences only of what you have learned right after the airing of our RBI lesson. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so let's proceed now to the next movement of art, which is called Cubism. Okay, Cubism is an early 20th century art movement that made innovations in paintings and in sculpture in Europe. So can you describe the characteristic of a Cubism art? So based from the pictures na nandyan ngayon, what do you think are the characteristic of Cubism art? Ano kayang character or characteristic ng isang Cubism art? So the art style was derived its name from the cube, a three-dimensional geometric figure which is composed of measured lines, planes, and angles. So the artworks of the Cubist artists are a play combination of planes and angles on a flat surface. So Cubism is also considered as the most influential art movement of the 20th century. And the most notable proponent of Cubism art was Pablo Picasso. Okay? So from the word cube, nabuo ang Cubism because we are using different geometrical figures like lines, planes, and angles. So if we are going to notice yung pictures ng mga iba't ibang work of art ng Cubism, makakakita tayo ng mga iba't ibang geometrical shapes. Okay? So gumamit sila ng mga iba't ibang anong tawag dito? Three-dimensional geometric figure. So papansinin natin sa mga painting may mga figure tayong makikita, but it was distorted using the different geometrical shape. Katulad niyan, yung first photo ng excuse me, ng ating art ay the three musician. Nakikita niyo ba yung tatlong musician diyan sa first photo natin? Nare-recognize niyo ba sila? Yan ay three musician. Meron tayong tatlong lalaki na nakahawak ng mga iba't ibang mga musical instruments. Yan. So yung ikalawa naman na figure ay isang babae. Ganon din yung ikatlo, may hawak na gitara. Okay. Then yung nasa baba, dalawang babae. Then yung nasa ibaba, pareho pala sila. Ito rin yung three musician but ibang version lang.
Sir Francis.
Yes, Sir Dante.
Nabanggit dyan na Pablo Picasso was really excel on this particular art movement. Let's try to localize it para naman tawag dito, para naman mapamiliarize ng mga bata. Actually,
Yes.
here in Aurora, trivia ha, mga grade 10 learners. Dito sa Aurora, marami tayong mga artists pero hindi sila napapansin. Remember, dito nang galing ang ating putik painter? O sa putik painter, Ma'am Joanna? Sino ang putik painter natin na yan?
Si Oliver Bagcal.
So that is Oliver Bagcal na gumagamit lang siya ng putik. Yun yung mud para sa ganon, yun ang maging medium niya in making an art. But here in Aurora, if you are familiar with Mr. Michael Castillo who hails from Bulinaw, Aurora, Isabela, na kung saan siya ang nag-establish ng Isabela Artist Circle ng Isabela, mostly ang kanyang masterpieces na ginagawa is focus on Cubism. Okay. If you want to see his masterpieces, you can see on his page Michael Castillo. Makikita nyo doon yung mga sample of Cubism na meron siya. And that is, tawag ito, an artist from our municipality of Aurora. Hey, Sir Francis, ano na?
Yes, so marami rin tayong mga Pilipinong artists, ano, si Malang, si Fernando Amorsolo, yung mga yan. So, for trivia rin, ano, ang ating tahanan ng mga national artists, ano, sa Angono, Rizal. Nandiyan ang ating mga magagaling na Filipino artists. Yan, tahanan niya ng artists ang Angono, Rizal. So let's proceed now to the next movement of art to be presented to us by Ma'am Joanna.
Okay, let us move to optical art, or what we call the op art. What is all about this? Optical art, or op art, is an art movement that emerged in the 1960s. This is an experiment in visual experience as a form of action painting, with the action taking place in the viewer's eye. Lines, spaces, and colors are carefully and precisely planned, visualized, and positioned in op art to illustrate the illusion of movement, which let viewer from discomfort to confusion to busyness. So we have Bridget Lewis O'Reilly was an English painter known for singular op art painting. So tignan natin yung sample ng op art sa screen. So what can you say about this, Sir Dante?
Pansin niyo, it's an optical illusion. It composed, makikita mo talaga dyan yung different tawag ito, combination of what we call elements and principles of art. Nandyan ang lines, nandyan ang shape, although wala akong masyadong makitang color, nandyan ang tawag dito yung value, mapapansin mo dyan. There is also movement on it. May movement, may pattern, may emphasis na makikita. Like for example, yung parang mata niyan. The first thing na makikita mo, di naman yung mga lines na yan eh. Ang makikita mong una is yung bilog na kulay black, that is the focal point, and that is the emphasis of that optical art. From Joanna?
Yes, Sir Dante, kaya siya tinawag na op art, ano, kasi yung optical illusion. Once na tiningnan mo yung gitna, talagang gumagalaw siya, no? Yung mata natin ay parang sumasabay. Gaya nga ng sabi mo kanina, Sir Dante, no, nung nag-practice tayo, bawal yan sa sa may, ba yun, Sir Dante? Vertigo, ano? Kasi nakakahilo siya.
Nakakahilo
siyang tingnan kasi gumagalaw siya kapag habang tinititigan natin siya dun sa emphasis niya.
Actually, nakaka-stress actually yung movement na pinapakita sa op art. But if you're gonna go on the deeper meaning of art, you will find out that there is really beauty on it.
Yes. Okay. So next, let's proceed now to the next movement of art, which is the pop art or the popular art, to be presented to us by Ma'am Annalisa.
Karagdagan lang yan sa op art or optical art. According to experts kasi, ang optical illusions daw help you make your brain sharper. No, it also actually helps understanding the difference between looking and seeing. May pagkakaiba ng looking sa ng seeing. So, optical illusions. No? Okay, that is according to experts. Okay.
Science talaga si
Science talaga siya, oo.
Looking and seeing, wala no. Science mo. Pumunta ka na sa science naman.
Differences between looking and seeing yan. Okay, next is popular art or pop art. So what is pop art? Okay, pop art is an art movement that arose in the United Kingdom and the United States of America during the mid to late 1950s. Historically, pop artists made use of recognized objects and images from the consumers, as in the Prince of Andy Warhol. Okay, their inspirations were the celebrities, advertisements, billboards, and comic strips that were becoming popular at the time, which led to the emergence of the term pop from popular art. Okay. Saan yung mga popular art natin? Okay, yan, no? Kikita niyo yung mga arts dyan. Okay, pop art in the United States, the 5 pop styles was referring to representation art or art that depicted the visual world in a recognizable way. Okay, ano pa pwede nyo idagdag sa pop art?
Yes, so yung mga pop art din natin, mapapansin natin, yan yung mga portrait na nandyan, yung example, yung mga popular artists katulad ni Michael Jackson, ni Madonna, ni Queen Elizabeth, pati si Barbie, nandyan na rin, So mga famous celebrities usually ang ginagawa ng mga portrait ng pop art. And aside from that, meron din tayong mga products, yung aning mga comic strip, yan, katulad ni Superman, yung mga yan. Kaya siya tinawag na pop art. And even billboard na nakikita natin sa ating mga daan, mga placard, those are pop art. Sir Dante, may dadagdag ka pa?
Hindi lamang yan, Sir Francis. Even yung mga tawag dito, makikita rin yung mga pop art na yan sa mga magazine, mga newspapers. Nagkalat ang mga pop art actually. Because of commercialism, paglago ng commercialism, they are all example of popular art. Para sa ganon ay mas mabilis na i-introduce sa mga tao ang product na ini-endorse ng isang company para mas lalo pang tangkilikin at bilhin ng ating mga mamamayan or the people itself. Yan. Commercial arts is a part of our popular art.
Okay, so next na tayo sa huling movement of art. So siguro Sir Dante, bigyan naman natin ng boses uli si Sir Mark, para ipaliwanag naman sa atin yung performance art.
Yes.
Sir Mark.
Okay, so the next
Actually, magaling si Sir Mark dyan sa performing arts.
Bakit? Performer ba si Sir Mark, Sir Dante?
Yes, maraming talent yan. Aalamin natin kung ano ang performance art. Okay? Very talented kasi yan. Sobrang talented ng tao na yan, ay ng teacher na yan.
Thank you, Sir Dante. Okay, what is performance art? Okay, performance art is a form of modern art which the actions of an individual or a group at a particular place and in a particular time constitute the work. So usually, performance art can happen anywhere. Okay? Agree at any time or for any length of time. So performance arts includes the such as, ito, theater, dance, music, juggling, and gymnastics. So, these are unexpected, avant-garde, and unorthodox activities meant to capture the audience attention. So, the performer himself or herself is the artist. So, tingnan nga natin, sir, ang example ng...
Sorry, Sir Mark, na-erase ko yung PowerPoint niyan kaninang nag-practice ka.
Bigay ka na ng example, Sir Mark.
Napindot ko kasi kanina, na-erase ko. Bigay na lang tayo ng example.
Okay, sir.
Go, Sir
Mark.
Mark.
Is the performer or himself or herself is the artist. So, example dyan is dance. Dancing.
Ano pa, sir?
Okay, so sabi dito
theater performance also, yung mga
TikTok siya, sumayaw-sayaw siya. Pag sumayaw siya, yan, pag sumayaw siya,
go, Sir Dante. Yan. Parang magaling. Magaling na yata si Sir Dante, nakakasayaw na siya.
Bumalik ka na sa akin, Diyos. Those are example of fun. Wala pang kakantahan.
So any performance, Sir Dante, na hindi lang sa stage pina-perform, pati din sa streets or anywhere, maybe in Europe yata, sa London, ganon, maraming mga performers sa street. No, yung mga kumakanta sa mga daan nila, yan, that is performance art. Yung mga nagpe-painting din sa mga park, that is also a performance art. Ballet also is a performance art. Yan. So, wala na ba tayong maidadagdag na mga performance art? Street dance also is a performance art. O yung mga mime. Yung mime, nagmamime, yung hindi nagsasalita, yung gumagalaw lang.
Mime, yes. Paraan yan ng pag-arte.
Yes.
Mimic art.
Okay, so now that you have learned the distinct characteristic of various modern art movements and influences, so this have brought to the modern art world. Let us check now how far have you understand our lesson. So you are going to do the different activities and assessment that are prepared for you to work on. So you are going to answer the activities found on page 12 of your learning activity sheet, which is activity 1. Okay? Nasaan na yung PowerPoint ko? Wait lang po.
Hindi na siya gumagalaw.
Okay. So you are going to answer activity 1, directions. Follow the given set of instruction to work on the activity. Yan. So there are some instruction there, number 1 to 4. Read that and then do it. So note that you are going to refer to the rubrics that is found in the answer key on page 19. So may rubric ang activity na ito. Tingnan ninyo sa page 19, dear learners. Okay, aside from that, Ma'am Joanna, ano pang mga activity na gagawin ng ating mga learners?
Okay, you may continue answering assessment 1, still on page 12. Directions, write T if the sentence gives a correct idea. If it is false, choose the underlined word or words to make it right. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. For activity 2, Ma'am Ana.
Okay, activity 2 on page 12. Tingnan mabuti makinig. Okay, page 12 will be your performance. Ito na yung performance ng mga anak in arts. Okay, so directions. Work on the given task by following the instructions below. So come up with a work of art. Okay, number 1, make your own artwork showing self-expression, applying your understanding of the principles applied in expressionism art. Okay, an example. Ito yung mga pwede nyo gawin. Painting, drawing, sculpting, stone engraving, soap, curving, caricature, etc. No? Basta i-apply niyo yung expressionism art. Okay, number 2, give a title of your work, output based on its function and utilization. The example, an artwork used as a protest against environmental degradation. So, kailangan may title, anak, ang inyong mga work, yung mga output nyo, ha? Ilalagay nyo ng title. And then, number 3, check your output based on the rubrics on page 19. Okay, so is instructions clear? Maliwanag ba ang mga instruction? Okay, so yan ang performance nyo, sa arts. Okay, next, Sir Francis.
Okay, so next or the last activity that you are going to do in your module, you are going to answer assessment 2 on page 12. So directions, complete the sentence below by filling in the space provided with the correct word. So write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so yan ang mga iba't ibang activities na gagawin ninyo sa inyong mga module, grade 10 learners. So, Sir Mark, let us now do the recap of or the summary of our lesson for today.
Okay, so we have learned from this lesson that art movements evolve in time, mostly created innovations and modifications from the artworks of their predecessors. And each art movement has its distinct characteristics from one another.
Okay, so we have also learned that the modern art movement from Impressionism to contemporary arts made an impact not only to the individual artist, but more so to the society as a whole. Aside from the aesthetic function of arts, it is also utilized as a form of social and political protest against injustices like the Cubists and social realists. Okay, next, Ma'am Joanna.
To continue for the activity, you may answer what you can answeran nyo rin yung what I can do on page 13 for your evaluation in our topic. So directions, write a short comparative analysis essay about the characteristic of artworks in the 20th century. Use the table located at your module on page 13 as your guide and write your essay on a separate sheet of paper about the similarities and differences. Sir Dante.
Okay, let's try to have a short reflection of what we have learned today. Okay, let's try to give our personal reflection about the topic, sharing your idea on the question. You were to create your own artwork, which of the different type of modern art movement choose to depict? Will it be abstract realism, Cubism, Dadaism, pop art, Surrealism, or performance art? And why? You're going to write your answer on a separate sheet of paper and submit it to your MAPEH teacher. Okay? That's for the student. How about you, fellow teachers? If you were to create your own artwork, which of the different type of modern art movement would you choose to depict and why? Sir Francis?
Yes, Sir Dante. If I will choose to make artwork depicting on the art movement, I would prefer to choose abstract realism. Why? Because it sharpens my mind through conceptual visualization and implementation. Plus, it boosts also my memory skills. And since hindi nga ako magaling mag-drawing, Sir Dante, kasi di ko talent yan. So, I choose abstract, pero realistic pa rin naman. So, swak na swak yan. Abstract siya, pero realistic. So, yan ang bagay para sa akin, no? How about the other teachers in grade 10? Ano naman ang napili ninyo?
Siguro, Sir Francis, as a teacher, I would like to preserve our culture and tradition, and I want to be the performing arts. Kasi gusto kong i-inculcate mind of the learners the beauty of our dances, and of course the songs that we have as Filipinos. Sir Francis?
Akala ko, Sir Dante, si Sir Mark ang performer. Pati rin pala ikaw ay performer.
Ay! Hindi siguro, I like that we have the siguro, yun hindi naman siguro yun, meron din naman kahit konti, but pwede ko naman i-direct ang ating mga estudyante in loving more of our culture and tradition in the field of art, Sir Francis.
Yes. How about you, Ma'am Joanna?
Ako kanina sabi ko, optical art. Interested ako with the optical art. Kasi mas lalo ko naging interesado nang sinabi ni Ma'am Ana na yung mga optical illusions na yan ay nakakatulong para ma-sharpen pa yung brain. And gusto ko pang ma-sharpen talaga yung brain ko. Ano? And another thing, it's hard about certain things na maging possible pa siya, na magilid sa atin ngayon yung understanding natin sa pag-work ng human brain natin na mas naging interesting yung ginagawa natin. So sabi niya kanina, nakaka-understand din daw ito sa differences between looking and seeing. So ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? So sinerge ko talaga kanina, narinig ko yun. So sa looking ngayon, it is only a physical action. Glance lang siya. So you will turn one's eye towards object lang siya. Pag sinabi natin seeing naman, it is a mental process of perception or to perceive something na kung saan ay involved dito yung recognizing and connecting the information. So, ibig sabihin nun, in order to see or perceive an object, we must look at it. We must look for it first.
Okay, so I hope Ma'am Joanna
Parang
makalook
wala
ka
yan.
na at saka makasi ka na din ng inyong bagong pag-ibig.
Talaga, Sir Francis, parang viewer din yan lang sa, parang mga viewers rin yan ng arts. May mga tao na they are into looking and they are into seeing.
Yes. Okay, ikaw naman Sir Mark, ano naman ang napili mo na movement of art?
Ang napili ko, sir, is the pop art or the popular art.
Yan. Siguro
Okay,
gusto
sir.
maging popular ni Sir Mark.
Dahil sa paggawa lang ng isang popular art, parang nakakatulong ngayon, sir, kasi puro virtual lahat, di ba, sir?
Yes.
Popular art na to para i-advertise or campaign ang isang activities or isang program, sir.
Okay, thank you Sir Mark. Yes, Ma'am Annalisa, ano naman ang pinili mo? Nawala si Ma'am Ana? Okay, so nawala si Ma'am Ana. Siguro ang pipili ni Ma'am Ana performance art din kasi nga magaling siyang kumanta, pwede siyang mag-perform, no? Okay, wag lang siyang maglalagay ng lata sa harapan niya kapag nag-perform siya.
Yes. Tandaan natin, the learner, Sir Francis. Sir Francis,
Yes.
pakatandaan palagi
Yes.
ng ating mga great learners, anumang movement ng art ang kanilang piliin, ang arts ay bahagi na ng ating buhay. Bahagi na ng ating kultura at tradisyon. Sabi nga nila, ang buhay natin bilang tao ay para rin yan arts, na kung saan kung may elements of arts tayo, may principle of arts tayo, sa buhay nating mga tao, parang ganun din. Nandiyan may mga elemento ng buhay natin na nagpapasaya sa atin. Kung minsan nagiging makulay tayo, minsan nagiging malungkot tayo. And those are actually a part of our existence. Our existence as a human being is look like the elements and the principle of arts.
Wow.
Diba, Sir
Okay.
Francis?
Napakagaling. Okay. So that ends our discussion for today in Arts 10. I'm Teacher Francis saying, keep safe.
I am Teacher Dante Enulaton.
And Teacher Joanna.
And Sir Mark D. Pagamaspad.
Saying, sa MAPEH Learning Area, learning is amazing.
And the
Amazing.
discussion for today. Thank you everyone and goodbye. Sa MAPEH Learning Area, learning is
Learning
amazing.
is amazing.
Bye.
Amazing.
Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman, inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 Dance Radio, ang istasyong magbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan man, at ang silid-aralan sa radyo 106.3 DWDR FM. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing! Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR FM.
Nais mong matuto, buksan mo ang iyong radyo. Lahat kami ay narito serbisyo. Walang problemang di malalampasan. Magliliwanag ang ating kinabukasan. Dance Radio, silid-aralan sa radyo. Hatid namin makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo. Kahit saan at kahit kailan, hindi ka iiwanan. Hatid namin bagong kaalaman. Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong. Sulong edukalidad, Dance Radio.